Good afternoon. I want to thank you all for coming today. Today we're going to talk about the Abby Libby case. Some of the people standing behind me is Superintendent Doug Carter with the Indiana State Police. You got Detective Deputy Sheriff Kevin Hammond over here. Excuse me, over there. You got Sheriff Tobe Lesby with the Carroll County Sheriff's Department. On this side, Special Agent, FBI Special Agent Mike Peasley, and then First Sergeant Jerry Holman. They're going to discuss today the things that have been going on over the last year with this case. Superintendent Carter will do most of the talking, and at this time I'll turn over the podium to him. Thank you.
Well, first of all, welcome. I didn't really know what to expect when I stood on this trail just a little bit ago, over the course of the last 15 minutes, but very uncomfortable feeling. We're a year today. I would be remiss to not talk about the people that have made this whole for the first year without an arrest. We talked about Sheriff Linsonby, who stands behind me to the left, and Kevin Hammond, Mike Peasley with the FBI, Jerry Holman over my right shoulder, Steve Buckley, the new prosecutor Nick McClelland here in Carroll County. What I've seen over this course of the last years are memories and times and comments and things that will stand with me and live with me for the rest of my life. The very best of humanity in the very worst of times. I was able to see from afar this community in Carroll County in the city of Delphi come together and support not only law enforcement and the people that were here that have given so much of their lives to this case, but also to the families. And I just wanted to say I am forever humbled. I don't know what you expected today, but I came to plead and implore you to keep this out front and center. I've said before, and I'm confident I'll say again, I hope that one day when we all meet Abby and Libby that they tell us you did well. That's my hope. We cannot allow evil to prevail. Our world is completely out of balance, and we cannot allow that to prevail. I've said all along that we, as an agency, will be here as long as I'm breathing and as long as Governor Holcomb allows me to continue to stay in the position that I hold. I have the opportunity to brief him regularly. This isn't about how many hours we spend. It's not about how much it costs. It's about every single asset that the ISP has we will give to this sheriff, this community, and to each and every one of you. Because I refuse to accept evil as a standard bearer in American society. Not here. People have oftentimes asked me, why is this so personal to you? It's personal to me because those two young girls were everybody's daughter. In this beautiful place that represents the very best of humanity. And look what happened. That's why it's very personal to me. And I just hope that one day I can look into the eyes of a murderer and ask him why. And I believe that we will. I believe that we will. I know you have a bunch of questions for me. But please understand, if the question has to do with the investigative process, tactics associated with the investigation, what only the killer would know, that we know, I can't answer your question. And I just ask for you to please understand that when we open this up. Many people have said, did you think it'd be a year? I don't know. I don't know. How do you answer that question? I believe we're one piece of the puzzle away from figuring out who this individual is. Then the real work begins. Over 30,000 tips. Thank heavens the FBI was engaged with us, with the Orion system and the expertise that the FBI brought from all over the country to allow us to manage that kind of data. We've had inquiries and requests for discussion from agencies all over the country, not only because this is such a high-profile case, but because of the complexities associated with the time since we found their bodies a year ago tomorrow. As I close my comments to you, I want to say thank you. I've had the pleasure of having relationships with our local media and our statewide media and even our national media for more than 30 years. I appreciate our partnership. I appreciate our partnership. I've had the opportunity to travel to the East Coast and the West Coast with Mike and Becky and the families to continue to perpetuate this message if somebody out there knows who this individual is. None of that's possible without you. It's really, really important that you understand how important and what the importance of the role is that you play. Technology is wonderful, but technology can also challenge us. I would ask that folks not continue to compare photographs on the internet. Please, if you have an idea of an individual, of a comment, of a phrase, of a name, that you send it to us. It creates lots of complications when that analysis is done outside of the purview of the experts that I happen to be able to represent there standing behind me today. So I hope you hear me loud and clear. If you're watching this and you're responsible, today may be your day. It might be tomorrow, but I can guarantee you your day's coming. We've got to perpetuate the relationship that we have, and we've got to not stop. Ladies and gentlemen, I've seen detectives that have given their lives to this case, that have held off and discussed holding off retirement, that have canceled family vacations, that work nights, weekends, and holidays, so that we can explain to you one day and to this incredible community and to our state what happened. So our commitment is longstanding. It's real. It's as real today as it was 365 days ago, and it'll be as real tomorrow as it was today. We are not going away. We are not going away. With all that said, the floor is yours.
Superintendent, how do you speak to that one individual who said maybe just a tip away? So how do you encourage that somebody, whoever they may be,
Yeah.
provide you with that information that you need to put the pieces together to solve this?
That's a great question. And the answer is each of you. I talked about that relationship. You see, in all of my career, I don't ever remember having the photograph of a person that we believe is responsible. I don't ever remember having the voice of a person that we think is responsible, or having a sketch of the individual that we believe is responsible. So, if all of you closed your eyes for just a moment and you thought of a family member, but you didn't think of them from the neck up, you would know how they stand and the clothes they wore and their posture. You would know that voice. I would know it if it was my father, just like you would know it if it was yours. Somebody out there knows who this person is. And fortunately, I'm not going to say unfortunately, fortunately, we have such a relationship with you that you've kept this front and center, because we couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. But you guys are. I don't think there's multiple pieces to the puzzle, ladies and gentlemen. I think there's one piece. And it's having one individual with the strength to say, that was my brother, or that's my dad, or that's my cousin, or that's my neighbor, it's my coworker. That's all we need. And I think we're one piece away. One piece. Good question, Raphael. I appreciate that.
How do
Yeah.
you measure progress, and how much progress has been made in the last year?
Yeah, so another good one. How do you measure progress? How do we know if we're making progress? Tips. I think if we do this mathematically, it's over 30,000 tips. I've heard this guy say to me multiple times, Superintendent, when we're out of tips, we're going to start all over with the ones we got. There's this notion that this is cold. It's not cold. This is not going to be cold. I'm not sure where that comes from. So as those tips continue to come in, we'll continue to work them the very, very best that we can. We'll bring detectives in from all the posts around Indiana that I'm responsible for. And the local law enforcement entities that have resources, we'll bring them all together and we'll go out after the tips that we have. That generally leads to more tips, and then can lead to more tips. So we will continue to manage those tips, and when we're all done, we're going to start all over, because that piece of the puzzle's in the pile someplace. Yes, sir.
Daniel Nations has been called a person of interest. What does that mean for the Indiana State Police when we say someone's a person of interest?
Well, I think the inverse to that statement is until there's somebody arrested, we're interested in almost everybody. But we, as you all know, we went out to Colorado and we spent a little bit of time with him. And he's not a person that we care a whole lot about at this moment in time. And that's all I'll say about Daniel Nations.
Now that a year has gone by, do you guys have a new path when investigating this case, or is it still relying on those tips? Is it, what you've been doing every day for the last year?
Yeah. I think that repetitive nature is going to reveal something that's right before us, and we just don't know what it is yet.
Superintendent, you have been on the national TV programs. You have harnessed the resources of not only your agency, but also the division of the FBI in Carroll County. Is there something that you have not done, sir? I mean, as you look at your checklist, what have you not done humanly possible already to look into this case? What is that? Is there something you haven't done?
You're going to get into my soul a little bit with a question like that.
Don't take your soul.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you why. I want to tell you why. Because of what my eyes have seen and what the eyes of these fellows behind me have seen that you haven't seen. About 3/4 of a mile from here. There is not a day goes by at the end of my day that I don't think is tonight the night that I'm going to get a call that something bad happened to somebody that I represent, an Indiana trooper someplace in Indiana. Or is there something that we haven't done that we could do? Is there a level of support that I have not given to this sheriff or Jerry Holman and the multitude of resources that we have here in Carroll County? What are we missing? You see, we're human beings just like you. And this continues to play in our minds. Every single morning I wake up and I realize my phone might have rang, but everybody's okay. But is today the day in Delphi? Is today the day in Flora? It comes to my mind every single morning, and sometimes in the middle of the night. So I appreciate the question, Raphael. The answer is absolutely yes. I can speak for myself, and I can't even fathom what the folks standing behind me must think and the way in which it's affected their lives.
Like you mentioned, you have the killer's voice, you have his picture, you have a detailed sketch. That's more information than a lot of the cases that you guys have had in the past to solve. 1 year later, you have all that information. How come you don't have it?
Answer the question for me. I wish I could answer it. I wish I could answer it. I've said locally, statewide, and even nationally that sometimes our citizenry doesn't trust us. And I acknowledge that and recognize that we are not without sin. I know that. And I would just like to think that the person that might know about this maybe doesn't trust us and doesn't want to tell us. Maybe they don't think we can protect them. Oh, yeah, we can. Yeah, we can. And we've got to work to regain that community's trust, these community trust. And I think we're getting there. That's not $1 million question. That's $1 billion question. And I'd give my life to be able to answer it.
Have you been able to clear anybody in this case?
I think that the people that we have talked to at this point in time, we feel confident that there was no involvement.
Sergeant Carter, months ago, it was mentioned, why haven't you released more of the video to give an idea of his gait, how he walked? And I think the comment was that you weren't comfortable at that time, you weren't at the point of doing that. 1 year in, are we now considering doing this? Give us more to work with?
No, we are not. We think that we've released enough now that if there's a possibility of identifying the killer based on that photograph, we'll be able to do that. And that's all I can say about the video and audio that we have.
Still serving search warrants and subpoenas. I know she said these guys work every single day. You see them here, always checking up like this and
Yeah.
making phone calls. But there are still subpoenas and search warrants happening right now in Carroll County.
As needed, absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. That's an investigative process that will continue to perpetuate itself over time.
Can you say anything more about this suspect that you took a picture of? Do you believe he was a transient? Is he in the state? Is he anywhere in this country?
$1 billion question, isn't it? I don't know.
Would you say the case has slowed down? Obviously not cold by any means with so many tips still coming in, but has it slowed down a little bit, maybe not as many leads, or?
As with any major case, it ebbs and flows, right? I mean, the rhythm, it ebbs and flows. And this one is certainly no different. When it does slow down, it gives these incredible servants standing behind me an opportunity to take a breath. Then about the time they get that breath, something else happens and they fire right back up into high gear. I have no indication to believe that that's going to stop or slow down.
Physically, I'm handling it fine. As Superintendent Carter says, I think about this every night I go to bed. I lay in bed thinking, what could we have done today? Who do we need to follow up on? It's a never-ending with me. Weekends, I'm still working on it. There's weekends I've come into the command center and just do stuff on my own, just to get stuff done by myself. So it's 24/7 almost for me.
Having your local relationships with so many people here, and you've been on this case since the beginning, has that helped you and helped Indiana State Police?
It's helped a lot. A lot of the state police that come in from other posts don't know the area, don't know people, so they'll come into me or even Detective Liggett, who's also helped. We help them out, get them to the right people, and follow up where we can.
Detective, people are trying to find something to do. They want to be part of the solution. So, what do you suggest that they do as we enter the second year? Besides giving you that call that you need, what can the public do to help you get this case on the right track so you can talk?
As far as local, the public's been fantastic. The support has been fantastic from Carroll County, from food to snacks to beverages. Just every time I go to a local store, they're, hey, we're thinking of you, we're proud of you. So the local support has just been great. But just stay vigilant. If you see something, let us know. I mean, it could be local, could be distance. At this point, we don't know. Again, always be visual of your surroundings when you're out and about.
How is this case changing you as a person? You guys talk to people here with Superintendent Carter talks and Toad talks. Every single investigator, you can tell it's really taken a toll.
It has.
So, I mean, seeing the family, having to give them updates, where sometimes they're non-updates at this point, how does that affect you? So you go home, you can't get it off your mind.
It affects me because I have children at home too. So I am more vigilant with my own children than what I ever was before this had happened.
We had that very conversation, and having, was it going to be in town? Was it going to be at the city building? Was it going to be at the old office on the courthouse square? I was pretty adamant, in my opinion, was that it's where they would last were, and they walked right here. They walked right where I'm standing. I thought that's why it was significant to have it here today. And the response was, "What if it's snowing?" And I said, "Who cares?" So I think everybody would agree.
Your platform that you got to do in connection with the Patties and the Williams, so many different talk shows, national talk shows, you're able to get your message out there to so many people. That garnered so many tips. Is that something you're going to continue?
Listen, every single opportunity that we get to throw this out to the front, whether it be in a newspaper in small town southern Indiana, or whether it be on a national stage, Dr. Phil was 135 countries and I think 20 million people. Absolutely, yes. Again, it resonates with the relationship with all of you. Please understand the importance you play and how important it is that you're here. I didn't know what to expect when we flew in, but I looked down and I saw this line of cars, and I'm so grateful, so very grateful to you. It's my hope that the killer's watching us. It's my hope.
Take two more questions.
He is, whether there has been speculation on social media, whether he's watching now on TV or online. He may think it's a year, I got away with it. Your response?
Keep thinking that. Keep thinking that. Yes, sir.
Local, state, and the FBI.
Yeah.
It's been a year and over 30,000 deaths.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that people cannot identify him by that pixelated image. I just don't think it's possible. Is that what you guys are depending on? Is somebody turning in a tip that identifies that image?
That's one piece, of course, and I agree with you completely. But that would be one investigative step for us. The other investigative step might be a hunch, might be a notion that someone has. It would be great if someone came out and said, "Yeah, that is this person, first and last name. I know it is." But
It has to come from an individual.
likely, very likely, from an individual. Yes, yes.
Still no update at this point, though, on the scientific element, as you refer to, not specifically saying DNA, but anything you could be still waiting for the labs, nothing updated?
No, the science piece of this I'm going to keep very, very close to the vest. Very close to the vest.
Thank you very much for coming today. We appreciate your time.
Thank you all very much.